Oh, hi, my name is Scott, and in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 tips on using the Fortin 33 Clean Boost. I'm also going to do a little demo and tweak this little knob for you. Boop. Before I begin, allow me to introduce myself if you're new to the channel. My name is Scott Bino and I love all things guitars. So if you're into demos, gear reviews, tutorials, shootouts, things like that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Before I get into my top 3 tips using this pedal along with a demo, I have to come clean about something. In the days and weeks leading up to me finally buying this pedal, I was super excited. I couldn't wait to get it. I had seen a bunch of videos on the pedal. Everybody was gushing about how good this pedal was. The pedal even just looks good. First impressions? I hated it. I thought it was terrible. It just sounded kind of mid-rangey. It was like honking at me. It had like no low end. It was just like a sloppy, loose mess of bleh. To be honest, I was really bummed out. I mean, I was turning the knob and trying it really low, trying it halfway up, trying it all the way up, and I just couldn't find anything that sounded good. But I smartened up. What I realized was this was user error. I was an idiot. I was using the pedal all wrong. I was trying to boost my high gain amps the same way that I boost them with an overdrive pedal, and you just can't really do that with the Fortin 33. It's a different kind of pedal, and you have to treat it differently. To make matters even worse, when I first used this pedal, I was plugging it into an EVH 5153 Stealth head in the red channel. And for anybody that knows these amps, that's an insane thing to do. The red channel on its own arguably has too much gain to begin with. So to throw a boost in front of it just doesn't even make sense. So what I learned is you really have to understand what this pedal is doing and how to incorporate it into your setup. And when I did that, I had an aha moment. Okay, so here we go. My top 3 tips on using the Fortin 33. Tip Number 1, understand what this pedal is doing. Essentially, the Fortin 33 is just boosting what your amp is already doing. So don't be afraid to tweak the settings on your amp to get this to sound right. I know that sounds weird, but if you're like me, when I incorporate a new pedal into my setup, I don't like messing with my amp settings too much because I've spent time getting the tone out of the amp that I want. But the Fortin 33 is sort of a different beast. This pedal is going to find the tones and the frequencies happening in your amp and boost them. If you have too much gain or your mid or your high frequencies are a little bit aggressive, it's going to push those even further, which is exactly the problem that I had. I had too many mids, too many high frequencies going on, so when I engaged the pedal, it just sounded way too harsh. But that's what the pedal was designed to do. It was doing its job. So spend the time, tweak the settings on your amp to get this pedal to sound right within your rig, because honestly, when you do, it's worth it. Tip Number 2. So this tip is kind of similar to the first tip, but I'm going to focus just on gain. Like I said before, the biggest mistake that I think I was making when I first used this pedal is I just had way too much gain running through the amp. When you're using a boost pedal, don't be afraid to dial back the gain. For me personally, I set my amp to a low enough gain where I actually don't like it, where I want more gain, where I'm looking for more gain. This is where the pedal comes in. Let the pedal do its job. Once you engage the pedal, you start to get that gain back, and you also get a lot of upper end clarity that helps cut in a mix. Remember, don't try boosting an already boosted, aggressively gain heavy amp. You'll just end up getting a sloppy, soupy mess of way too much gain like I did when I originally used the pedal. Tip Number 3. So I've said this before in other videos and I'll say it again right now. You're never really going to know how a piece of gear sounds until you put it into your setup and hear it for yourself. And the Fortin 33 is no exception. I've watched a variety of demos and reviews of this pedal, and they all sound great. So when I brought the pedal home, I was scratching my head wondering why didn't it sound as good as the other demos that I'd seen? Because truly, it really depends on what you're using. Depending on my signal chain, this pedal sounds really different. If I switch guitars with different pickups in it, it sounds totally different to me, especially if I'm switching between amplifiers. For example, if I plug into my EVH 5153, it takes a little bit of work for me to get a tone that I really enjoy. But on the other hand, if I throw this pedal in front of my Meshuggah triple rectifier, it just sounds great instantly. So all this to say, it really doesn't matter what you see in other demos and videos, including this one, you're really not going to know how this pedal sounds until you get it for yourself. But what I'm hoping with this video is that you can get some sense for what this pedal is and what this pedal isn't. All right, have a listen. Let's get into the demo. All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful or helpful in some way, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you've already subscribed to the channel, appreciate your support. Thank you for coming back. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like these kind of videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Peace.